Greetings, fellow Grimdark readers and listeners. I am your host, Mystery Centric, bringing you the best reaction videos to Grimdark fanfiction narrations and pony thread simulators that I can muster. And today we're going after short break. After a break, taking a break. Hold on, burp. Come on. There we go. After a pretty long break, I think we're gonna continue. I shouldn't say I think. We're gonna continue on with our Truth Be Told series, and I have seen the screenshots for this in the YouTube thingamajig. And remember when I said that things were in part 2 or part 3 where things were about to get real? Yeah, apparently I was wrong about that. In this part, things really get raw, especially towards the end. Like I'm seeing like these weird screens. I have no idea what's happening. Like, what is going on? But honestly, I don't know. And honestly, I have to keep that's the second time I said honestly in the same sentence. And honestly, I really want to know how surprise is a part of this, because really I don't know how this is all going to end. But without any further delay, let's do this. Adjust the volume. Skip the intro because we have already seen it.
I can't believe she just did that. She just up and left. And after all her belly aching about getting here in the first place. Applejack said incredulously.
Please don't think badly of her.
Fluttershy's stare remained fixed on the sky visible through the doors.
Really, Zach is just upset and she doesn't deal with feeling helpless that way.
As the pony who had known her the longest, Fluttershy spoke with quiet conviction. No pony questioned. Applejack blew out a sigh. We're all upset, Sugarcube, but we don't all run off at the drop of a hat. Applejack paused. This is the point where Pinky would say that my hat didn't drop because it's still on my head. She muttered. She turned her face away. Dang it! How the hay did this get bad so gosh darn fast? She was fine yesterday, and maybe she wasn't 100% fine when we saw her today, but she wasn't. She trailed off.
Yeah.
They were all asking themselves the same question. How far was Pinky's...
Why is it that in all the fanfiction I've seen, Applejack is always thinking what the audience is thinking? I think it's actually a trope, and it's a really good trope, I might ask.
Rarity cleared a revealing croak from her throat. Said more empathetically.
If Pinky is here, I'm staying here. I'd like to stay too.
Fluttershy added.
But, I should probably go find some animal friends first.
As if some pony would question her loyalty, she gabbled.
The thing is, I lost fed them before lunchtime, and even though I fed them plenty, we went straight to the library after we left here, and I haven't been home since, so they'll probably be very hungry by now. And Mrs. Mouse recently had a litter of babies, so I should check on them too. Not to mention I have to change the dressings on Miss Vixen's split ends. I'm sorry.
No need to apologize, Fluttershy, said Applejack. You want some pony to walk with you? Many hooves make light work and all. I'm pretty good at changing bandages on squirmy critters after Winona hurt a paw last spring.
Thank you, but I'm fine. You should stay here in case.
Fluttershy seemed unable to finish her sentence. She bit her lip.
I'll be as quick as I can. Pinky, if something happens, I'll come and fetch you.
Something is going to happen, and it doesn't look good.
She had used several times. Teleporting another pony with her left her nauseous and dizzy, but if anything bad had happened to Pinky, speed would supersede comfort.
I promise. Thank you.
Fluttershy said gratefully.
I'll be back soon.
Cupcake nuzzled Pumpkin's stomach, making the tiny foal giggle.
Oh, I could just eat you up. Have there ever been a fool as cute as you? Have there ever?
Right here.
Chuckled Carrot, cradling Pound. The young colt yawned.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad that the
Cup exclaimed
cake
in mock
babies,
delight.
that the
She
baby
flashed
cakes
comfort
are
to Pound
alright.
and finished putting Pumpkin in a fresh diaper.
All done. No more stinky.
Pumpkin burbled and chewed on her forehead. Carrot pulled a face.
Well,
But little did they know that
He
something's
indicated
gonna go
the tiny
down.
plastic baggie containing the old diaper, which was not quite as good as keeping in bad odors as advertised. Cup had placed it on the side of the changing mat. Now it was steadily
Also,
filling
if you
with
guys are
liquid.
wondering, yes, I did have dinner. I had a pizza and a Sprite, and I was
He said
watching
loudly.
Markiplier's Octodad Let's Play.
It was lucky that their neighbors had agreed to babysit while they went to go visit Pinky in the hospital. Lyra wasn't the most reliable pony in the world, but Bonbon's nonsensical practical balanced out her partner's enthusiasm. Privately, Bonbon had confessed to Cup that they had someday hoped for a foal of their own, so she had been more than happy to agree when Carrot asked. Since there were two of them, and especially since Lyra was a unicorn with first hoof experience in growing up magical, the Cakes felt assured that they would be able to cope with Pumpkin and Pound's quirks. Carrot buckled Pound into the stroller, and Cupcake left him to do the same with Pumpkin, as she disposed of the diaper. She held it out from her, forelay locked so the baggie wouldn't touch her. She knew that it was unlikely to spontaneously burst open and cover her with her daughter's excrement, but you couldn't just help some superstitions. She loved her little ones with all her heart and soul, but even she had her limits. She was so focused on her task that she didn't see the black little lines wriggling across the ceiling. They jerked and jolted over her head, some concealed in recesses of shadow, some blatantly twitching past the light fixing. A few stragglers hurried to catch up as they crawled like convulsive caterpillars over the doorframe and into the twins' room. Cup gratefully plonked down the lid of the trash can and headed back inside. She climbed the stairs slowly, knowing she would be puffing and panting if she took them at speed. Carrot always said he loved her no matter what she looked like, and it was hard to say no when Pinky presented her with the mist cakes, as she called those too misshapen, burned, or just plain ugly to sell in the cafe. Nevertheless, sometimes she wished she had the energy to take up jogging or join an exercise class to get rid of the post-pregnancy pudge.
At least most of it is post-pregnancy.
She thought wryly.
Okay, it is. A little bit. Very little bit.
Putting the unwelcome thoughts of her expanding waistline from her mind, she called.
Honey bun, are you all ready to go?
go.
Carrot called back.
Go where?
To see Pinky, of course.
Cup stepped through the door to find Carrot unstrapping Pound from the stroller. Pumpkin had gotten herself to her hind legs to thrust her stubby forelegs through the bars of her playpen at her mother. Carrot frowned at her in confusion.
Pinky? Who's Pinky?
What?
Cupcake laughed,
Oh no.
assuming he was joking.
Carrot, don't be silly.
I'm not being silly, Snookums.
He continued to look genuinely puzzled. Carrot was a sweetie with a mind like a
Not
sieve,
Mr. Carrot.
but he couldn't keep
They've
secrets
got,
and was the worst liar in all of Equestria. Cupcake could see through any
or
untruth
Mr.
like
Cake. I
himself.
don't know.
She
The
inhaled
the
sharply and
darkness
looked
has
into his
gotten to him.
eyes. He wasn't lying.
The
He really
demon,
didn't
or
know
I mean
who
the
she was talking
demonic
about.
black demon clouds.
She said slowly, as if that might jog his memory.
Our apprentice. She rents our room upstairs. She's lived with us for almost 2 years now. She's in the hospital, remember?
I think you're the one being silly, Honey Bun. We never managed to rent the room upstairs, remember? We tried, but no pony wanted to live in a place where we start work at 5 a.m.
He shook his head.
And our apprentice sure isn't called Pinkie Pie, and she sure isn't in the hospital. She finished her shift and went home, remember?
What? Panic sluiced through her like ice water. What? In the playpen, Pumpkin's jabbering took on a fretful edge. Her little horn glowed like she was about to have another magical surge.
Uh-oh.
Carrot left Pound buckled in the stroller and hurried to pick up their daughter.
Come here, you. Don't worry, Daddy's here.
He picked her up and stroked her back like all
Even though this isn't the real Mr. Cake, they do a pretty great job of impersonating
She
him.
grew more agitated, reaching desperately for their mother. Or that was what Cup assumed, until she realized Pumpkin was not looking directly at her. She followed the foal's gaze, gasping when she saw the massive jittering black lines on the wall. She backed away, putting herself further into the room and
It's the
clenching her
demon
fangs.
clouds.
Instinctively, her stance became protective, head lowered and hooves planted wide. Carrot, what are those things?
Hmm?
He started to turn.
What?
A few black lines scuttled from his mane.
I'm surprised you don't even notice them, but I'm not the real Mr. Carrot, honey.
Carrot looked at her.
I'm sorry.
and then at
I'm
the
sorry. That
wall
was
where
my
she
best.
pointed.
That was my best Mr. Cake impression. It's not really in the mast. Kind of sounds like Squidward
You okay?
or
You're
Squilliam.
acting awfully strange.
He can see them? Pound began to cry, his little wings flapping as he tried to extricate himself from his seatbelt. The wriggling black lines were forming a pattern. Cup was about to shout for Carrot to run when she realized that she recognized the shapes some had formed.
Cakes.
She stared in
Cakes?
horror and bewilderment as more squirmed into place beside their surname.
The Cake's apprentice.
The Cake's
The
apprentice.
words trembled as if alive with the wriggling, jiggling, squiggling little. Whatever those things were, another word formed.
Is.
Carrot, she said hoarsely.
What?
We have to run! On the far side of the wall, yet more of them came together.
Very happily together.
Very happily together.
Take the fold and run! Now!
Very happily together.
Panic
What's the
made
other
her
part of the
stumble with a
sentence?
clasp on a safety belt. The lines were making a sentence, starting at either end and working their way inward. They were silent, but the words they made rang through her head like a knell.
And they work.
And they were.
She yanked at Pound so roughly she nearly fell
What's the
back.
last piece of the puzzle?
She cried harder in her grasp.
Honey bun,
Carrot exclaimed.
what's gotten into you?
Pumpkin burbled angrily, her tiny horn glowing like she was trying to protect her oblivious father.
It's called. Who?
Carrot! Cup pulled at him and ran
Who is
for
it?
the door. Follow me! Quick!
Wait!
Too late. The last word formed, and with a noise like a happy sigh, the whole sentence stopped wriggling. The edges smoothed, and the words became so easy to read as type on a printed page. The sentence peeled off the wall. For a single frozen moment, it hung in the air. Then it shot towards the running mare and wrapped around her in a black ink. Pumpkin screamed.
Wait, was that Mrs. Cake or was that Pound Cake or Pumpkin Cake?
So high that clouds brushed her balance.
But I'm guessing that's it for the cakes. But who was it? Who was the Cake's apprentice?
The rock farm
Who is it?
grown up was, as Pinky herself had always put it, only a stone's throw from Ponyville. In reality, it was more than that, but the distance posed no problem for the fastest Pegasus in Equestria. She swooped out of the cloud bank to get her bearings, realizing that she was traveling even further than she had thought. It was amazing what you could do when you were really motivated. The rock farm was just over the next rise. She crested it expectantly. The quarry wasn't there. Rainbow pulled up short. She circled the area, thinking she must have missed it, or not gone far enough. She had been there only once before, and though it was unlikely, it was possible that she had gotten the location wrong. She hadn't. There was no quarry, and definitely no rock farm anywhere around.
Oh, also, I forgot to mention that if Jolster109 is watching this, then he's probably gonna think about doing a reaction to this series in the future. I'm just saying if he watches this.
What is going on here?
Rainbow Dash asked the empty air. The sun was still up, but beginning to make its descent into dusk, casting long shadows across the land. She did another circuit, but came up with the same result. Fields of freshly harvested crops, but no rock farm.
This makes no sense. How does the whole quarry just disappear into thin air?
And what about Pinky's family? If their farm was gone without a trace, what about them? She espied the farmhouse at the edge of one of the fields and powered towards it. Maybe the ponies inside would know something.
Keep your mane on.
Said a gruff voice as she pounded on the door. It opened to reveal an aging brown stallion in a black hat, with a pristine white band around it. She recognized him immediately. It was hard to forget some pony who made your friend cry.
Mr. Pie!
Rainbow Dash exclaimed.
Hmm?
He eyed her suspiciously. He was still chewing the stalk of grass as last time, except it wasn't just grass. It was a grouty stalk of wheat.
Can't you read the sign?
He pointed to the little piece of cardboard pinned to the door. No hawkers, circulars, or sales ponies.
I'm not selling anything. Don't you recognize me?
They had only met once, but Rainbow Dash knew her mane and tail made her stand out in Pony's memories. Not a scrape of recognition shone on his face.
Can't say that I do.
I'm Pinkie Pie's friend.
Who?
She scowled. So it was back to this. Pinkie had essentially been excommunicated by her family for
So
coming
the
into their
darkness
farm.
did get to
Her
the
father
rock
had
farm
shunned
and
her,
the Pie
which
family.
Pinkie had explained meant she pretty much didn't exist to him anymore. Apparently having a party-themed cutie mark was tolerable up to a point, but choosing to live out the dreams it opened up was not. The whole thing made Rainbow Dash want to turn around and buck him, but that wouldn't get her the answer she wanted.
Look, I know you like to pretend that you don't have a third daughter, but I'm here to tell you that she's real sick in the hospital and that you need to go see her because when I say real sick, I mean real sick. And where the heck is your rock farm?
She sucked in a much-needed breath.
Rock farm?
Mr. Pie said.
What kind of dumb idea is that? Who farms rocks?
You do.
Exactly.
You did. Something real screwy
These
going on here.
these dark cloud things haven't said are asking the same
Rainbow
question
Dash
I
caught
would.
sight of Pinky's
Who
sister,
needs a rock
Gratitude,
farm for anything?
wrestling her.
They're just
Blinky was
rocks.
the only pony who had acknowledged Pinky during their last visit. She had chased after them and
I'm
pushed
guessing
brown
the
paper
I'm
wrap
guessing the
bag
writers
into
ran out of
Pinky's
ideas or
hand,
something.
which later turned out to be family photos their father had tried to throw away. Blinky, who had been crossing the hall, trotted over to the door. Yes.
It's me, Rainbow Dash.
At Blinky's bland look, she added,
Pinkie's friend.
Blinky's expression could have not been emptier. It was as if someone had punctured her heart and let all the emotion seep away a long time ago, leaving her with no recourse, but blank indifference.
I'm sorry, but I have no idea what you're talking about, miss.
Sure you do.
You guys are
Rainbow Dash
so
insisted
not real.
angrily.
I was gonna say you guys are so mind controlled, but then
Her eye
but
caught
I
on a
realized
wall
that
of
they're not
framed
mind controlled.
photos behind the two Earth ponies. She recognized some. They were from the package Blinky had given Pinky. Now, instead of carefully glued into albums in Pinky's room above Sugar Cube Corner, they were displayed proudly on the wall here. Yet, it was not this that made the words die in Rainbow Dash's throat. Pinky was not in any of them. Even the ones Rainbow Dash recognized did not have her in them. Rainbow Dash knew where she would be, could even pinpoint the exact spot with her hoof, but there was no sign of the pink filly in any of them.
Are you alright, miss?
Blinky asked, as if it didn't matter to her one way or another.
I
Rainbow Dash backed away.
gotta go.
She ran down the path and launched herself into the sky, banking a sharp left towards Ponyville. This was too weird. She had to tell her friends, fast. Luckily, fast is what she did best.
Okay, so she didn't get brutally murdered.
Redheart pulled the food trolley down the little
Okay,
corridor
what's
with
the
the
condition
isolation
on
in it, opening the door at the opposite end open like the room.
patient
It
on
involved
patient
some
Pinky?
complicated near acrobatics to hold it open with one hook while she dragged the trolley through, swinging it into the room in the tiny arch before letting the door shut again. The breathing mask may have been necessary, but it sure made simple tasks more difficult when she couldn't grasp things in her mouth and use all four of those for walking.
Hi there.
She said with a smile the mask concealed.
Dinner time. Since you didn't get anything to eat earlier, I figured you must be pretty hungry by now.
She raised her head.
Pinky.
A dome of restrictive magic shimmered over the bed. Since her back condition and possibility of seizures prevented Pinkie Pie from being restrained by normal means, the hospital had been forced to come up with an alternative. The effect, as Redheart noted, was like a gigantic food protector over a single pink cupcake.
Pinkie Pie.
She pulled the trolley closer.
I'm guessing she can't hear you behind that shield barrier.
Pinkie lay in front of her, face buried in the pillow. She lifted her head at Redheart's approach, looking befuddled. She blinked and shook her head as if to clear it. Her left eye twitched.
Oh, hi there.
Deciding to remain cheerful in hopes it would, in turn, cheer Pinkie, Redheart presented the trolley.
I have daisy sandwiches, daffodil and pasta salad, and some sweetened clover patties. If you're still hungry afterwards, there are lemon surprise muffins, red velvet cupcakes, or fruit.
She smiled again, hoping it would reach her eyes.
I'm sure hospital food can't compare with your home baking, but for what it is, it's not half bad.
Pinkie blinked at her.
Do you have any dew soup? Dew soup?
Redheart had heard of it, though she had never tried it. Soup made of water of morning dew was a specialty dish served almost exclusively in Cloudsdale and parts of Kanawha and Manhattan, typically areas populated by Pegasi. The soup had some qualities that made it appealing to a Pegasi palate, but tastes like boiled dishwater to all other ponies.
No, I don't. Oh,
Pinkie lowered her chin to the pillow.
I think I like dew soup. It might even be my favorite. You think you like it? I'm not sure. It's one of the hazy things. A lot of things the other me knows are becoming clearer now, but some are still hazy.
She made a face.
I wonder whether I'll ever know some of them. I think they got left behind. If you break two mirrors and mix up the pieces, you don't get two reflections, but the picture is still wrong. It's the same with jigsaws. Nothing fits exactly anymore. So you have to step
Wait,
on the
Jigsaw?
pieces to make
As
them
in
fit
Jigsaw
where you want to.
from
And
the
the
Saw
picture
movies?
at the end is weird.
She giggled.
Stop, stop, stop. Find a friend and glomp.
A frown creased her brow.
What is a glomp anyhow?
Redheart wasn't sure what to say to that. Then again, she often had no idea what Pinkie was talking about.
Would you like a sandwich?
She asked. Pinkie's left ear flicked independent of her right.
I can't.
She indicated the shimmering dome.
In case I climb on top of the cabinet again, which I won't, but I wanted to be extra specially sure, because I might fall off and hurt myself because I can't.
She stopped abruptly.
Can't.
Her eyes became unfocused. Though she tried, whatever she was trying to say would not come out. Instead, her body started to rock from side to side. She covered her head in her forelegs and moaned.
Oh god, not again?
She elongated the valve so much it was nearly unrecognizable. A strangled scream burst.
Oh god, this is gonna hurt.
Oh no.
Oh my god, this is gonna hurt.
However, this time, Redheart had come prepared. She grabbed the hypodermic from the lower shelf of the trolley, slipped the protective plastic from the needle, and made sure there was no air bubbles. Satisfied, she scrubbed a hoof through the circle on the floor that marked the limits of the magical barrier. From within, no pony could touch or affect it, but a single break in the line from this side would cease the magic's effect until some pony connected up again with a charmed magnetic chalk. Though the circle had been drawn by a Medi Mage, it had been specifically designed so that any hospital staff member, unicorn or not, could dissolve it in case of emergencies like this.
Hold still, Pinky.
Renard said, keeping her voice calm and level.
This will only pinch a little.
She reached for one of the forelegs clamped over Pinky's head. Pinky arched her back into a harsh scream. She flung out her forelegs, knocking the hypodermic from Renard's grasp. Renard scrambled to pick it up as Pinky rocked upwards, head thrown back in a second agonizing scream.
Pinky!
Renard shouted over the noise.
Pinky back!
What is happening? Wings?
She was silent by a noise like tearing bells. Thick black liquid splattered the wall as Pinky's back tore open. It was as
I know those were rings because from the image thing it looked like a smile.
The scream became a choking gasp as first one and then two splits appeared, shearing from the shoulder to the hip. Then something pushed through the flesh, twitching and writhing like maggots breaking free from a hollowed-out corpse.
Uh-oh.
She leaned forward.
Why you had to reference maggots?
Ragged sobs. Finally, a wet rip. Something unpeeled from beneath her coat and stood on end. First one, and then the second pushed free, flinging gouts of liquid into the air. Some landed on the ceiling, a dripping splotch of red and black. Some landed on Redheart, who stifled her own scream of
Or
revulsion
Red Hark.
and fell backwards.
Oh,
as
I was
she
going
tried
a
to
mistake.
shake off the
2014.
skin covered in pink
Or wait,
fur
was it
that had
2015?
landed
I can't
over
remember.
her eyes.
No, Code Red! Ivy Redheart!
She shrieked.
Code Red.
The security magic glowed, and the alarm started to wail. Pinky panted, hunched over on the bed.
Pinky,
Veins poking out of her back fluttered like they were testing the air
are you
after
okay?
being trapped for so long inside of her. Rivulets of dark liquid ran over her sides and tripped onto the bedclothes. Redheart was frozen in shock as Pinky raised her head and turned to look at her.
I knew I should be able to fly.
She panted.
Knew it.
She giggled. It sounded wrong. Her face fell, and panic suffused
Oh
her
no.
She leaped off the bed, though she should have not been able to move.
Her eyes are
for inches.
completely purple now.
Redheart scrambled away, but Pinky bounded over and cupped the nurse's face in her forehooves.
If you try to push two things together, they both break.
She said in a panic. She spoke using the same tones and inflections she had when Redheart had found her lying on her side.
That's why you can't just smush whole worlds together. But doing it piecemeal doesn't work either. We can't both exist. It's not possible. They want it. Want me to be me so much that they set it in motion and we're breaking. I'm breaking and
Her eyes became unfocused again.
and they're right. Of course they are. It has to
Who
be
are you?
what it should have been.
Who? Like, seriously, who are you?
All of it. All of it.
She dropped Redheart and ran for the window.
Wait, no.
Run!
Pinky crashed.
Oh,
through the glass,
okay, I didn't
but
expect
instead of
that.
plummeting, she opened her new wings and flew like she had been doing it for all of her life. Redheart hastened to the window. However, by the time she got there, Pinky was nowhere to be seen. Redheart turned.
Oh,
when
I
the
saw
door
this
crashed
screenshot on
open,
Google
and a
Images.
slew of ponies thundered in, demanding to know what had happened in a clamor of overlapping voices. The soaked ceiling, walls, and bed didn't tell even half of what had happened. But the truth was so far-fetched that Redheart's mind did as many do when faced with the truth so impossible to process. It snagged on a single insignificant thing. which she had noticed when she literally watched a pony's mind snap in front of her. Pinky's eyes had been bright purple.
What happened, Redheart?
Dr. Stable pushed his way through and turned her
Pinkie
face
Pie
to
grew
Apple.
wings
What in the
and
name of Celestia
got
happened here?
purple
Where is
eyes.
she?
His eyes flicked to the broken window.
Did she jump?
I,
Redheart stuttered. On the wall behind the gathering ponies, small black lines crawled silently into formation.
Oh no. Redheart. Ah, I can see it. The painting's becoming, the colors in the paintings becoming more and more black and white. Oh man, oh man. We things. The finale has been set in place. So, and the end of the finale, it all comes down to this. I'm just acting like I don't know who that pony, who that white Pegasus was, even though I clearly know it's a. Hold on. Even though I clearly know that it's surprise, I'm just trying to act like I'm trying to act surprised. I thought the Pinkie Pie and the surprise Two-Face wallpaper on the trailer had thumbnail on the trailer video had absolutely nothing to do with the fan fiction. I thought it was just a cool image just to be put on the trailer thumbnail, but apparently not. So the surprise is actually coming back through Piggy Pie somehow. But in the other story, I'm just gonna try and act like I didn't even like I don't even know that it is surprise. And and I'm just saying, part 5, like Smoothie said, when we get to part 5, junk is gonna get rar. And I hope all of you. But anyway, I hope all of you enjoyed the part 4 as much as I did. And I'll see you guys in a few minutes for the finale. Be sure to leave a like, and as always, stay grim.